Italy is where civilization forgot to stop being beautiful. Where every cobblestone leads to a masterpiece. Every meal is an event. And every hilltop town looks like it was painted by someone who couldn't stop crying at the view. While the rest of Europe built the monuments and moved on, Italy kept layering them. The Roman ruins beneath the Renaissance palaces, beneath the Baroque churches, beneath the Michelin-starred restaurants. We're talking about the country where the pizza was invented in Naples and perfected everywhere. Where the gondoliers still navigate the canals in Venice. Where the cliff villages cling to the Ligurian coast like they forgot gravity existed. And where a single road trip through Tuscany feels like the greatest film ever made. This isn't the Italy of the tourist cliches. Well, it is. But the cliches are cliches because they're absolutely true. So loosen the belt, charge the camera, and prepare for the most beautiful country in the world. Rome is the eternal city where 2,800 years of civilization, the Colosseum, and the Vatican create the world's greatest open-air museum. The city layers the ancient ruins beneath the medieval churches, beneath the Baroque piazzas, creating the archaeological timeline you walk through daily. The Colosseum held 80,000 spectators for gladiatorial combat in 70 AD. The Vatican museums house the Sistine Chapel, where Michelangelo painted the ceiling lying on the scaffolding for 4 years straight. The Trevi Fountain receives over €1 million in coins annually. The Pantheon, the best preserved ancient building in the world, has stood unreinforced for 2,000 years. The Roman Forum was the center of Western civilization. The aperitivo culture means the drinks come with the free food. Visit from March to May or September to November for the ideal temperatures, avoiding the summer crowds. Have you tossed the coin in the Trevi Fountain in the Eternal City where every cobblestone covers 2,800 years of civilization? Florence is the Renaissance cradle where Michelangelo's David, the Uffizi Gallery, and the Brunelleschi Dome create the world's greatest concentration of art in the single city. The Medici banking family funded the Botticelli, the Leonardo, and the Michelangelo, simultaneously transforming the merchant city into the artistic capital of the world. The Uffizi Gallery houses Botticelli's Birth of Venus and the Primavera in the same room. The Accademia displays the original David, the 17-foot marble masterpiece carved from the single block. The Duomo's terracotta dome, engineered in 1436, remains the largest brick dome ever constructed. The Ponte Vecchio Bridge has housed the goldsmith since the 1593 decree banning the butchers. The Florentine bistecca weighs the minimum of 1.2 kilograms. Visit from April to June or September to October for the ideal conditions, avoiding the summer heat. Have you stood before Michelangelo's David in the city that single-handedly invented the Renaissance and changed the art forever? Venice is the impossible city where the 118 islands, the canals instead of the streets, and the gondolas create the floating masterpiece that should have sunk centuries ago. The city was built on the wooden piles driven into the lagoon mudflats. The engineering miracle sustaining the marble palaces for centuries. The Grand Canal curves for 3.8 kilometers, lined with the Gothic, the Renaissance, and the Baroque palaces. The St. Mark's Basilica features the Byzantine mosaics covering 8,000 square meters of the ceiling. The Doge's palace connected the political power to the Bridge of Sighs, where the condemned prisoners glimpsed the last view of the city. The Rialto market still sells fresh seafood daily. The Acqua Alta flooding reaches St. Mark's Square regularly as the city slowly sinks. The Murano glass-blowing tradition continues for 700 years. Visit from October to March for the dramatically fewer crowds accepting the fog. Have you ridden the gondola through the canals of the floating city, where 118 islands defy the logic of engineering? Amalfi Coast is the cliff-hugging drive where the turquoise water, the lemon groves, and the pastel villages create the Mediterranean fantasy that inspired 1,000 postcards. The 50-kilometer stretch of the Sorrentine Peninsula earned the UNESCO designation for the landscape where the mountains plunge directly into the sea without apology. The villages of the Positano, the Ravello, and the Amalfi cling to the cliffs, requiring the boat, the bus, or the nerve-testing narrow road to reach. The limoncello is produced from the Amalfi lemons growing on the terraced gardens above the sea. The ancient Republic of Amalfi once rivaled Venice and Genoa as the Mediterranean maritime power. Oh, the Villa Ruffolo Gardens in Ravello inspired Wagner's Parsifal. The summer traffic makes the coastal road nearly impassable, requiring the early morning drives. Visit from May to June or September to October for the manageable crowds and the warm swimming. Have you navigated the cliff-hugging road where the lemon groves and the turquoise sea create the Mediterranean masterpiece? Milan is the fashion capital where the Last Supper, the Duomo Cathedral, and the Galleria Vittorio Emanuele create the combination of the style and the cultural substance. The city operates as the economic engine of Italy, producing the fashion weeks, the design fairs, and the financial industries simultaneously. The Duomo di Milano took nearly 6 centuries to complete and features 3,400 statues, more than any other building in the world. Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper, painted on the refectory wall of the Santa Maria delle Grazie, survives, despite the deterioration and the World War II bombing nearby. The Galleria Vittorio Emanuele II, the world's oldest active shopping gallery, connects the Duomo to the La Scala Opera House. The aperitivo tradition offers the elaborate free food spread with every drink ordered. The Navigli Canal District has the vintage markets and the vibrant nightlife. Visit year-round, with the fashion weeks in February and September electrifying the city atmosphere. Have you spun on the bull mosaic for good luck after seeing the Leonardo masterpiece that survived the centuries? If Italy's beauty, from the eternal Rome to the impossible Venice, has you reaching for the passport, then smash the subscribe button, because Travelist's Guide is halfway through. And the cliff villages, the island paradises, and the ancient ruins are still coming. Like, comment, and share if Italy is calling you. Hit the bell so Travelist never misses your feed. Cinque Terre is the 5 cliff villages where the pastel houses, the hiking trails, and the no-car policy create the most photographed coastline in Italy. The 5 villages, Monterosso, Vernazza, Corniglia, Manarola, and Rio Maggiore, cling to the steep cliffs above the Ligurian Sea, connected by the hiking trails and the regional trains. The UNESCO designation protects the terraced vineyards producing the Sciacchetra dessert wine from the near vertical hillside cultivation. The Vernazza harbor is considered the most beautiful of the 5, with the natural port and the medieval castle tower. The Via dell'Amore connects the Rio Maggiore to the Manarola along the dramatic cliff face. The trail system requires the ticket purchase to manage the severe overcrowding during the peak season. The anchovies from Monterosso are the local specialty preserved in the sea salt. Visit from April to June or September to October for the manageable numbers. Have you hiked the cliff trails connecting the 5 pastel villages where the terraced vineyards drop directly into the Ligurian Sea? Naples is the chaotic masterpiece where the world's best pizza, the underground Greek ruins, and the Vesuvius shadow create the most raw and authentic Italian energy. The city invented the pizza margherita in 1889 for Queen Margherita of Savoy using the colors of the Italian flag, the tomato, the mozzarella, and the basil. The Centro Storico, one of the world's largest historical centers, is the UNESCO site where the street life, the churches, and the chaos overlap magnificently. The Spaccanapoli runs perfectly straight following the ancient Greek city grid from 500 BC. The underground Napoli network has the Greek ruins, the Roman aqueducts, World War II shelters beneath the modern streets. The National Archaeological Museum houses the greatest collection of Greco-Roman artifacts anywhere. The sfogliatella and the baba rum are the essential local pastries. Visit from April to June or September to November for the Vesuvius hiking and the comfortable temperatures. Have you eaten the world's best pizza in the chaotic city where the Greek ruins lie beneath the streets? Val d'Orcia is the rolling landscape where the cypress trees, the medieval hill towns, and the golden wheat fields create the most painted and photographed scenery in all of Italy. The UNESCO-listed valley in southern Tuscany represents the Renaissance ideal of the harmonious landscape between the human settlement and the natural world. The cypress-lined road leading to the Podere Belvedere farmhouse near San Chirico d'Orcia has been photographed more than virtually any other Italian landscape. The hill towns of the Pienza, the Montalcino, and the Montepulciano crown the ridges above the valley. The Brunello di Montalcino one of Italy's greatest red wines, comes from the vineyards surrounding the valley. The ancient hot springs at the Bagno Vignoni have been used since Roman times. The white gravel strade Bianche connect the farms and the hilltop villages. Visit from April to June for the green fields or July to August for the golden harvest colors. Have you driven the cypress-lined road in the valley where the Renaissance painters found their perfect landscape? Lake Como is the celebrity retreat where the aristocratic villas, the Alps reflection, and the impossible beauty create the Italian Riviera fantasy that never disappoints. The Y-shaped glacial lake stretches 46 kilometers between the steep alpine foothills, just 40 kilometers from Milan, making it an accessible escape. The Villa d'Este, the Villa Carlotta, and the Villa Balbianello showcase the centuries of the lakeside architecture with the manicured gardens descending to the water. The town of Bellagio sits at the junction of the two lake branches, earning the Pearl of the Lake designation deservedly. The ferries connect the lakeside towns and the villas, creating the civilized water transportation network. The Como silk industry produces the finest silk in Europe, supplying the world's top luxury fashion brands. The surrounding mountains provide hiking and skiing. The celebrity residents have made the lakeside villas the ultimate aspirational real estate. Visit from April to October for the lake fully alive. Have you ferried between the aristocratic villas, where the Alps reflect in the glacial water and the celebrities wave from the terraces? Pompeii is the frozen city where the Vesuvius eruption, the preserved Roman streets, and the plaster cast victims create the most haunting ancient site anywhere in the world. The eruption in 79 AD buried the city of 20,000 people under the 6 meters of volcanic ash, preserving it in the perfect snapshot of Roman daily life. The excavations began in 1748 and continue today, with approximately 1/3 of the city still unexcavated beneath the soil. The preserved buildings include the bakeries, with the carbonized bread still in the ovens, the Thermopolia fast food counters with the menus painted on the walls, and the brothels with the explicit frescoes still intact. The plaster casts inject the plaster into the voids left by the decomposed bodies, capturing the final moments. The Forum, the amphitheater, and the Villa of the Mysteries showcase Roman urban planning. The site covers 44 hectares, requiring the full day. Visit from March to May or September to November, avoiding the summer heat. Have you walked the Roman streets frozen in 79 AD, where the plaster casts capture the final moments of 20,000 residents? Capri is the island escape where the Blue Grotto, the Faraglioni sea stacks, and the Via Camarelle shopping create the jet-set Mediterranean paradise that has seduced the emperors and the billionaires equally. The island in the Bay of Naples has attracted the powerful since Augustus claimed it as his private retreat in 29 BC, setting the template for the centuries. Oh, the Blue Grotto, The sea cave, where the sunlight enters through the underwater opening, creating the electric blue illumination, requires the rowboat entry and the timed tide. The faraglioni, the three dramatic sea stacks, define the island's iconic silhouette. The chairlift from Capri Town to Anacapri provides panoramic bay views. The limoncello and the caprese salad both claim the island origin. The luxury boutiques line the Via Camarelli. The Villa Jovis ruins mark where the Emperor Tiberius ruled the empire from the cliff edge. Visit from May to June or September for the manageable numbers. Have you entered the electric blue sea cave by rowboat on the island, where Roman emperors escaped and billionaires still follow? Dolomites is the UNESCO mountain range where the vertical pink rock towers, the green meadows, and the cable cars create the most dramatic alpine scenery in Europe by considerable margin. The range in northeastern Italy was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2009. For the exceptional natural beauty of the pale rock formations rising above the valleys. The Tre Cime di Lavaredo, the three distinctive peaks, are the most photographed subject in the range and the undisputed symbol. The Alta Via hiking routes traverse the range, connecting the mountain huts over the multiple days. The winter transforms the region into the Dolomiti Super Ski Area, connecting the 12 valleys into one of the world's largest ski areas. The Alpe di Siusi, Europe's largest high-altitude alpine meadow, provides the contrast between the green meadow and the vertical rock. The sunsets turn the pale rock, the vivid pink, and the orange through the enrosadera phenomenon. Visit from June to September for hiking or December to March for skiing. Have you watched the pink sunset glow on the vertical rock towers rising above the green meadows in Europe's most dramatic alpine landscape? Siena is the medieval city where the Palio horse race, the shell-shaped Piazza del Campo, and the Gothic cathedral create the best-preserved medieval cityscape anywhere in Italy. The city's rivalry with Florence produced the Gothic architecture as the deliberate counterstatement to the Florentine Renaissance style. The Piazza del Campo, the shell-shaped central square, is considered one of Europe's greatest medieval squares, where the 17 Congress gather for the biannual Palio. So the Palio, held on July 2nd and August 16th, is the bareback horse race around the Campo, running since the 1600s with the genuine medieval pageantry and the fierce civic passion. The Siena Cathedral features the striped marble facade and the extraordinary Pisano pulpit. The Torre del Mangia bell tower offers views across the rooftops. The Sienese school of painting actually predated the Florentine Renaissance. The city escaped industrialization, preserving the medieval street plan intact. Visit year-round with the Palio dates creating the extraordinary spectacle. Have you watched the bareback horses thunder around the shell-shaped piazza, where medieval rivalries still determine the entire city identity? Pisa is the Piazza dei Miracoli, where the Leaning Tower, the cathedral, and the baptistery create the UNESCO ensemble that transcends and outlasts the tourist cliché entirely. The leaning began during the construction in 1173 when the soft subsoil caused the tilt that the builders tried and failed to correct by angling the upper floors. The tower leaned 5.5 degrees before the 1990s engineering intervention reduced it to the current 3.97 degrees, ensuring the structural stability for centuries ahead. The Cathedral of Santa Maria Assunta is the Romanesque masterpiece that influenced the architecture throughout Tuscany and Sardinia. The baptistery opposite is the largest in Italy, with the acoustic design allowing the single voice to create the full chord. The Camposanto Cemetery, allegedly built with the soil from Golgotha, houses the Roman sarcophagi and the medieval frescoes. As the tourist photograph, pushing or holding the tower is absolutely mandatory. Visit year-round, with the early morning offering the piazza without the crowds. Have you climbed the 294 steps of the tower that's been leaning since 1173 and somehow still standing perfectly? Verona is the Roman arena city where the Shakespeare romance, the first-century amphitheater, and the Veneto wine country create the most romantic city in northern Italy by every measure. The Roman arena, built in 30 AD, hosts the Summer Opera Festival, with a 15,000-seat capacity, making it the world's most spectacular opera venue beyond any competition. Juliet's balcony on the Via Capello draws millions annually, despite the Capulet family being fictional and the balcony being added in the 1930s as a tourist attraction. The love letters addressed to Juliet received the responses from the dedicated volunteers. The Piazza Bra and the Piazza delle Erbe form the two great public spaces. The Adige River curves dramatically around the ancient center. The Amarone and the Valpolicella wines come from the surrounding hills. The Castelvecchio medieval castle and bridge spans the Adige majestically. Visit year-round, with the summer opera season from June to September being the unmissable experience. Have you attended the open-air opera in the 2,000-year-old Roman arena in the city where Shakespeare set his greatest romance? So there you have it. 20 destinations proving Italy earned the title of the most beautiful country in the world, not once, but 20 times over. From the eternal Rome, where 2,800 years of civilization pile on top of each other, to the impossible Venice that shouldn't exist but magnificently does, from the Renaissance perfection of Florence to the raw chaos of Naples, where the world's best pizza was born, from the cliff villages of Sancater to the prehistoric caves of Matera, Italy doesn't just have the beauty, Italy invented it, refined it, and then kept adding more just to make the point. The Romans built the roads, the Renaissance built the museums, and somehow every generation since has added another layer worth crossing the world for. The food will ruin you for every other cuisine. The art will overwhelm every expectation. Awe and the beauty will justify every euro spent and every hour of the flight. If Italy's extraordinary beauty called to you today, Smash that subscribe button and follow the Travelist Guide for more destinations that redefine what travel means. Drop a comment telling us which Italian destination you're booking first. Are you team ancient history with Rome and Pompeii? Team art and food with Florence and Bologna? Or team coastal paradise with the Amalfi Coast, Capri, and Sardinia?